where is the motivation coming from to keep moving?
It's the burn. What is that fire inside of you that when the days are really hard and things feel horrible, like what is it that gets you up and going when you don't even feel like it? I want to make that younger Sarah proud. Both of us really want to be the one to change the legacy, to change the history that we leave in our family, to be the ones that change that.
I don't want to fail the people that have put their trust in me to get them here. That motivates me every day. We've got 50 plus employees now that we support them and their families. And so I don't need any more motivation than that. When people tell me I can't do something, that also motivates me to go do it.
What is the next version of you?
Much more public speaking, probably write a book.
I just want to be a more inspirational, motivational leader.
I have learned a lot and I have been through a lot, and I feel like my stories and my experiences, it's not fair for me to hold those to myself, that if they can change somebody else's life or make their journey a little bit easier, that I have an obligation to share that.
Sarah Card and Jake Grossweiler are a powerhouse brother and sister duo in the construction and home services industry, known for building a badass culture and delivering legacy spaces. They are the co-founders of GC Legacy Construction, a commercial general contracting company based in Dallas, Texas, along with sister companies in heating, ventilation and air conditioning, electrical and plumbing, serving both commercial projects and residential clients. Sarah is recognized for her leadership and operations acumen, her passion for people, and her ability to execute on their business strategy. A mother of 3 boys, a natural storyteller, and a dynamic public speaker, she brings energy and clarity to conversations around leadership, growth, and the future of skilled trades. Jake is her trusted partner in field operations and problem solving, excelling in translating complex construction challenges into practical, high-level solutions and developing strong, customer-centric relationships. His technical acumen, field expertise, and systems-driven mindset help stabilize fast-moving projects and strengthen team performance. Together, Sarah and Jake balance vision with execution, offering a rare blend of entrepreneurial insight and real-world expertise.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you guys grew up together, and how does it work actually working together as brothers and sisters?
Yeah, so happy to dive into that. So obviously we are a brother and sister. We grew up in at the time, felt like a small town in Kalispell, Montana, very northwest corner of Montana. Most people have heard of Glacier Park, and now I think Whitefish, Montana is the very touristy area that lots of people have heard of. But we grew up there, and so it was the two of us, and we have one older sister. So Jake and I are 7 years apart, and I am the older sibling. I'm the big sister. So Jake was fortunate enough to have 3 moms in his life growing up.
Yes. Yeah, our other sister is 2 years older than Sarah, so I literally had, they were 7 and 9 when I was born, so they tried to treat me like I was the little Cabbage Patch doll, and I was the baby, so I did have 3 moms, but it ended up being really good for me. I definitely didn't lack for nurturing or confidence now, so it helped in those aspects of our life.
Yeah. And Jake and I were always really close. When I found out my mom was pregnant with him, I was really mad. Mad. She let us know it was a Christmas present, and she let my sister and I know, and I think she was expecting a very different reaction, but I was not happy because I was no longer going to be the youngest. I wasn't going to be the baby girl anymore. But it turned out great because he and I were super, super close. And even when I left the house, because I was obviously much older when I moved away from home, I cried my eyes out because I was so worried about leaving him behind by himself that I was just broken over it.
Yeah, I think things are a little different. We're very much equals now. And we definitely each have our individual roles within the company as far as roles and responsibilities. And it's taken us a while to get to this point, but once we got things ironed out and our communication got better, we're in a great place right now and able to do great, amazing things together. So it's been fun.
Yeah, there were definitely some challenges getting to that place. I think that's one of the things that anybody that is in business with family probably knows and can relate to. There can definitely be some challenges, and we've had to make sure that we're very intentional at having a lot of open communication and not holding things in, and just making sure that we're aligned all the time, because we went through some rough patches, but we're in a really good place now. We've gotten each other figured out.
Yep.
Why construction? And why did you guys move on to open or start your own company and business?
Well, I've been in construction since I was 14, so it's pretty natural for me to be in the industry. I think the reason I wanted to leave my former employers is because I felt like hit the ceiling with them. There wasn't really anywhere for me to advance, and the way things were being done, I wanted to do it a little differently and wanted to have more opportunity. And so, in order to do that, I thought I could possibly do it better, and so that's why I am now an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah, we both got to the place where we knew we wanted to do our own thing, have our own business. And so when we finally sat down to talk about it, construction seemed like the greatest fit, because he had so much expertise in that space, where my expertise was much more translatable among any industry, because my background is more operations and finance. And so once we decided we wanted to do the business, construction became the easy choice.
How was your experience on your first project when you started the business?
You got to talk about the Cave Creek Starbucks, Joe.
Well, I wasn't the first one.
Well, that's the first really good
It was the
one.
first big one. Yeah, so both great stories. So the actual first project, well, I had met a client with my former company, had been negotiating with him, and then when I decided to leave that company, that client came with me, and so but it was a closed remodel of an existing location. We closed the store, and COVID hit. So we literally our first project was literally right at the beginning of in March of 2020. And so we had to navigate how to complete the project, how to get inspections, because the city didn't necessarily know if they were going to be inspecting, and so we navigated a lot through that. It was a not a super complicated project. It was a project I'd done several times. It was a little coffee shop for a single owner, and we ended up getting it completed. And actually, we opened it like it only delayed us like a week from opening. So, but very challenging times through COVID. Like everything was up in the air. So that one, and then throughout my history in commercial construction now, Starbucks has been one of my biggest clients. And so when I quit my former company, I wasn't able to work directly for Starbucks because you got to have qualifications in order to work directly for them. And so I had relationships with some developers that had built shell buildings for Starbucks. And one of those ended up leading us out to Cave Creek, Arizona, and we built a shell building up there. And the developer that I was working for at the time was having some issues with permitting, and then he ended up having some issues with Starbucks design, and we had some design delays, and then we had some unforeseens. And so right off the bat, we were dealing with cash flow issues and client issues, and we ended up having to get lawyers involved. And so it was we started off with a bang on our first big project as far as getting an education in business very rapidly. So and it took a lot of dedication to even be out there, because they asked us to go out to Arizona, Texas. You don't need a general contractor's license in Texas, so it was pretty simple for us to start a business. But Arizona requires licensing, and so I spent a month straight studying and getting qualified to go take that exam. And that was also during COVID. So
Yeah.
even getting my test done was a challenge, but we overcame a lot and ended up getting the job done. Ran into one of my past contacts at Starbucks when we were completing that job, and he ended up sponsoring us. His name is Gary Brackett. And so we were able to actually get back in to work directly for Starbucks after that. So it all ended up working out, but it was definitely a challenge.
You
So-
had said
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just, you had mentioned something about that project that it being your first one, like you were actually really glad that it happened the way that it did. Cause I think you learned so much through that.
Yeah, it tested everything, right? Like every piece of that project was a challenge.
Yeah.
From the unforeseens that we hit. I mean, we hit a water reclamation line in
Oh, wow.
Phoenix that was like an 18-inch line, and I'd never had to do like encasement and boring, and like there was a bunch of obstacles on that project that I had to navigate for the first time, and it taught me like the legal process, like what good contracts mean. Fortunately, we had a really good lawyer that had like protected us in that way, but like I didn't know how well he had protected us until we were going through it. And so it was though, because we had one employee at the time, like there wasn't much at risk. And so I was able to put 100% focus into that project, and I learned a ton.
Yeah.
So
What are the challenges that you're facing in your business?
Yeah, I think that was one of the big first things that we came to realize was obviously when anybody starts a business, it's pretty much you doing everything as the owners. And as soon as we started to grow and scale, it started to become a lot. And we actually hit a point of almost full burnout. Jake did, especially. I think there was one July when I think we were running 8 projects, 13 projects at a time with like
8 superintendents.
8 superintendents and just us. I mean, it was a lot, and we got to the point where we're like, we can never do this again. So you get to the point where you have to start delegating things, and you have to start hiring people. And we learned a quick lesson in that we were so reactive with our hiring that we were not getting good people. Like we were just hiring and having to let them go, but we just needed bodies at that point because we were so busy. So that's been one of the really big learning takeaways for us is how do we plan ahead and be proactive in what positions are we going to need to fill? Who do we hire? We learned a lot about the hiring process, just the way that you look for candidates, the right questions to ask them when you're going through that screening process. That's been a really big learning takeaway for us is really the people side of the business and building a culture of something different than a lot of construction companies where they're not very people focused at all. We really knew like we wanted to build a culture that was all about our people. How do we help our people get ahead, not only in their jobs here in our company, but get ahead in life? How do we help them improve their relationships at home, spend more time at home? How do we help them understand what are your goals and how can you achieve those through the work that you're doing with us? So we have learned a ton about people and building culture that I think is really something that now sets us apart and gives us an edge when it does come to hiring.
What does success mean to you guys now compared to when you started?
I mean, honestly, like I just wanted to build a bigger company than my former employee or former employer. Was like basically the mission of that. I wanted to be bigger and better, right? Like I wanted to treat my employees better and have more options. And now I look at it like I'm not nearly as focused now on the construction necessarily. Like we've set the standards within the company that like our quality and our prices matter. And so if we serve our customers in that way, like the work's going to take care of itself. But I'm way more interested in building people now. Like that shifted my focus to like, how do we build our employees? How do we actually help our customers on a personal level improve their lives? Like, how do we help them achieve their goals? And so like that's how I've transitioned out of focusing on that.
Yeah, and success for us now, our vision over the next 10 years, we want to be a $500 million company. And when we started this, there's no way that we were thinking that big. Like I don't even know that we ever thought that we could be a $20 million company. Like we just didn't even have that on our radar. So that is the success piece that looks different now than when we started. Like the vision is so much bigger, but it's because the bigger we are, the more impact that we're able to make. And that has been the real shift for us. I don't think we really knew why the why at the beginning was different than the why is now. One of my favorite things that I read recently was that as an entrepreneur, you think you're growing a business, but the business is growing you. And that really is just the reality of what we're finding. And the mindset part is the most critical, because things are going to go wrong all the time. And the bigger you get and the higher you go in leadership, the more of the crap that you're just dealing with. Like, that's the stuff that comes to you. It's all the escalations and the bad stuff. And you have to be able to stay in the mindset of the bigger picture and the why behind it to be able to really drive yourself forward, but also be that inspiration for your team. When we're having a really bad day and finances are scary and we don't know what we're going to do, we can't let the team see that, because then they're going to immediately sink into that and they're going to be scared and they're not going to perform at their best. And so we've done a ton of mindset work, lots of mentors, lots of reading. We spend a lot of time reading, going to seminars, surrounding ourselves with people that are where we want to go, and learning and growing that way. Because
Goal setting,
lots of goal setting, because we're the belief lid now. I mean, that's the one thing that I think Grant Cardone and Brandon Dawson talk about, the belief lid, and that is really what you think is possible. And we don't want to cap our team out. So we have to be continually stretching our own mindset and our own beliefs so that we can set the bar higher for them to see what's possible to achieve.
Was there ever a time that you guys came up with an idea that was impossible in everybody's eyes, but you guys made it so easy, and then everybody came back to you guys and said, oh, we didn't know you can achieve that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the revenue at the like most of the companies I'd ever been to, I think the biggest revenue company was like 12 million, maybe 14 million. And we hit that in like 3 years. And then that was the year that I burned out, because I was like, I didn't know what to do next. I'd never been around a company that had been bigger than that. And so I was like, what do we do? I already did it. What do we do now? So, yeah, I mean, and then you have to change. You have to start focusing on other things, and I've learned more in the last 24 months than I did the rest of my life. I mean, because once I realized that, like, there was so much possible, it was like, why not go after it? Right. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why we have a $500 million goal. Cause we're in Dallas, Fort Worth, and you look around this Metroplex and there's like hundreds of $500 million companies here. So it's like, if they've already done it, why can't we go do it again? And so now it's how. So now we're just building the system to be able to get there.
Yeah. But he'll do that. I mean, he'll come in and be like, let's try this. I'm like, what? You want to do what?
Do you guys have a mentor, or have you guys ever had a mentor?
So to answer that, like, when we got there, no. So like when we started the company, I had followed a guy named Ed Milet for a long time. He's very motivational, very impactful, more mindset. It wasn't as strategic. So like my mindset was there of like, whatever I put my mind to, I can accomplish. And so when, like I said, when we started the company, my mindset was like, I just want to be bigger than the company that I left. And so when we got there, then it was like, now what do I do? And so that's when we found Cardone Ventures and Brandon and Natalie Dawson. And so we went through, we partnered with them. We paid them to come and consult for us. And that really has taken our knowledge of growing and scaling businesses to the next level. It's very strategic now. So now I have all kinds of mentors. I mean, I follow Ryan Pineda. We hang out with him every once in a while. Obviously Brandon and Grant and Natalie. We do a lot with them. We've done coaching with Ben Newman. He's a phenomenal mindset coach. Like, he's helped coach Alabama. And so we've got through Cardone, we've had a great networking, experience. Like, we've got a great group of friends now that are running businesses that we can bounce ideas off of. And so,
Yeah. And that's a really critical thing. I think it is so hard to get to the next level and break through things without having that support system of somebody who has done it to be able to guide you through those. And that's one of the things we learned is we have to have help, and that's okay. Like, don't be ever too proud to ask for help or guidance or leadership from somebody that has been there before you and done that.
You guys are obviously dealing with a lot of challenges in a construction business. Where is the motivation coming from to keep moving?
Yeah. So we call it, actually, we did some coaching classes with Ben Newman. He calls it the burn, which I love that. It's the burn. What is that fire inside of you that when the days are really hard and things feel horrible, like what is it that gets you up and going when you don't even feel like it? And so it's different for both of us. I think for me, I was super energetic and outgoing and driven as a child. Like, I knew that I wanted to do something great in this world. And that is the fire that burns inside of me, is that I want to make that younger Sarah proud. And so I want to get up every day and do something that's going to make her proud. And I also both of us really want to be the one to change the legacy, to change the history that we leave in our family, to be the ones that change that kind of I call it mediocrity. Like, we want to be able to break out of the mediocrity and do something great. And so for me, that's my burn.
Yeah, and mine's like, I don't want to fail the people that have put their trust in me to get them here. And so, like, that motivates me every day. Like, we've got 50 plus employees now that we support them and their families. And so I don't need any more motivation than that to get up and get here every day and make sure that they can put food on the table for them. And I'm also a little bit of a rebellion. And so, like, when people tell me I can't do something, that also motivates me to go do it.
What was the one thing that you guys learned, whether it was a mindset or lessons learned?
I'll let you go first, then I'll tell you mine.
I would document every single thing that I ever did. Like, if I was going to start over from day one, I would record almost every conversation that I had. I would document exactly how I wanted things done, because, we grew so fast, so quick that, like, I didn't document anything. So now we're going backwards trying to build processes and SOPs, and it's so much harder to go back and do that stuff. So that if I had to do it all over again, I would start with that stuff day one.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Lay the foundation, build the processes from the ground up as you're doing them. Because, yeah, it is way harder to go back after the fact and try and put it all into place.
What is the next version of you that you're working toward?
The next version of me, I'm getting much more connected with the part of me that isn't as behind the scenes. I have for a long time played the more behind the scenes roles, just in operations, in finance, in all of those things. And I'm kind of coming to the place in my life where I want to take more of a upfront approach, because I have learned a lot and I have been through a lot. And I feel like my stories and my experiences, it's not fair for me to hold those to myself, that if they can change somebody else's life or make their journey a little bit easier, that I have an obligation to share that. And so the next version of me is planning to do much more public speaking, probably write a book is in my plan, and just keep growing and developing, becoming more and more self-aware, becoming more and more knowledgeable on all kinds of different things, and just always keep learning and growing.
Yeah, I think mine is I just want to be a more inspirational, motivational leader. I just want to hone those skills and then be more impactful to a wider audience. Like, I want to do more of this podcasting. I don't know if I want to speak on stages or write a book, but I definitely want to do more podcasting, because I think it helps to get the information out there, and podcasts have helped me tremendously. And so if I can communicate that to people that are in my network through that platform, like, I want to be able to do that. So
yeah, that's why we were really excited to do this. I love that you guys are even calling this impact, because it is so important for, you guys have had a lot of success and we've had a lot of success. We've learned a lot of lessons along the way, and for us to be able to pay that forward is huge. That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
yeah.
How do you define success?
I want everybody surrounded that's around me to feel like they're being served, that they're getting something from me. They're either energy or peace or knowledge. If I can lead more people to faith and lead my family well and lead the people that believe in me through the companies we lead well, I would feel just fine not being here anymore.
Success to me is really finding my purpose and finding my gifts and using those to impact and serve as many lives as possible. Part of why we named the company GC Legacy, because to us it really is about leaving a legacy. And my new favorite definition that I've heard of legacy is not about what you accomplish, it's about what others can accomplish because of you. And that really sums up what we're trying to do.
Yep.